This is the PAKDA, invisible bomber being developed by Russia, which is so advanced that it could shift the balance of global air power and shake up the world's strategic landscape. Now, Russia has had heavy bombers for decades, but when it comes to stealth bombers, the kind that can slip past radars undetected, they had none. While the United States already introduced the B-2 Spirit back in the 1990s, and even China is racing ahead with its own H-20 stealth bomber. Meanwhile, Russia was stuck relying on its aging Tu-95 Bear and Tu-160 Blackjack. The Tu-95 is a design straight from the 1950s, loud, radar visible, and completely outdated. The Tu-160 is powerful and supersonic, but it is not stealthy, which is why, until now, the United States was the only country in the whole world with an active stealth bomber fleet. And Russia does not like monopolies, and that is exactly why they are building the PAKDA. Now, do not let the technical name fool you, because its mission is far more dangerous than you can imagine. According to Russian sources, once fully fueled, the PAKDA can fly up to 12,000 kilometers and stay in the air for a staggering 30 hours non-stop. That means a bomber taking off from Moscow could, without refueling, reach any city in the United States carrying nuclear payloads and still have enough range to refuel mid-air over the Atlantic Ocean and return home. Now let us compare. America's upcoming B-21 Raider has a range of about 2,500 miles and China's H-20 around 5,200 miles. If Russia's claims prove true, the PAKDA could become the longest-range stealth bomber in the world. And here's another first. The PAKDA will be Russia's first ever flying wing stealth bomber. No traditional fuselage, no tail, just one massive wing slicing through the skies. The secret behind this design is simple yet powerful. It reduces drag, meaning the resistance of air is lower, which allows the plane to slice through the skies with ease, burn less fuel, and travel much farther. And most importantly, it drastically reduces the aircraft's radar cross-section. In plain words, on enemy radar screens, this bomber looks much smaller than it actually is, and sometimes it does not even appear at all. That is why stealth bombers can bypass air defenses so easily, just like America's legendary B-2 Spirit. So if Russia's claims turn out to be true, the PAKDA could prove to be quieter, more efficient, and far more dangerous than their older bombers. This next-gen bomber will be operated by 4 crew members, and it has the ability to fly continuously at subsonic speeds for up to 30 hours. Meaning it can circle over its target for hours, hide stealthily within the clouds, and then strike at the perfect moment with a surprise attack. And this attack has been long sought out when the Russians dreamed of building a stealth bomber in 2007. Preparations began fast, and just a year later, in 2008, the Tupolev Design Bureau was chosen to handle the project. And by 2014, Russia announced that the design had been finalized, and in 2015, the Kazan Aviation plant was awarded the contract to build the first prototype. By 2017, a full-scale wooden model had already been created, though no photographs of it were ever made public. In 2019, officials claimed that the first prototype would be ready by 2021, and that the maiden flight would take place sometime between 2024 and 2026. But just like most military hardware projects, delays kept piling up. But we have good news now. Some leaked documents suggest that between 2023 and 2026, a total of 6 prototypes are being built, which means the project is still moving forward, only the timeline keeps shifting further into the future, because the most important aspect of any military project is its power, and in the case of this stealth bomber, it was its engines, which are designed to be so powerful that they can function smoothly in extreme conditions, from minus 60 degrees Celsius to plus 50 degrees Celsius, and can even survive the effects of a nuclear explosion. The air intake design of this bomber is also unusual. Both of its engines are placed near the cockpit, mounted above the wings. This gives the bomber 2 key advantages. First, it becomes harder for ground-based radars to spot the engines from below. Second, the intake of air is faster and more efficient. But the benefit of having a faster and efficient airflow comes at a cost that the airflow can get a little disturbed if the plane changes its angle, which obviously it will as it flies. But since this bomber is not built for dogfights, rather for stealth and long-range missions, this small drawback can be overlooked. And here comes the most important part. The engines will be buried deep inside the airframe, which will help in significantly reducing the heat signature coming out of the exhaust, making it incredibly difficult for enemy sensors to detect the aircraft. Now let us talk about weapons. According to Russian sources, the PAKDA can carry nearly 30 tons of payload. This includes 12 hypersonic missiles like the Ki-92 and Kinzhal, along with stealthy cruise missiles such as the Ki-101 and Ki-102. For comparison, the payload capacity of America's B-21 is about 15 tons, while China's A-20 is around 10 tons, which means Russia's bomber can carry double or even triple the payload. And when it comes to hypersonic missiles, these are not ordinary weapons. They travel at speeds of Mach 8 to 10, which is 8 to 10 times faster than the speed of sound, and they can strike targets from a distance of 1,000 to 2,000 kilometers. At such extreme speeds, intercepting these missiles becomes almost impossible. Now imagine a stealth bomber is lurking near your border, and from a distance it launches hypersonic missiles. These would not just threaten cities, but also naval fleets, missile silos, and high-value command centers. If the PAKDA were to creep close to a U.S. naval fleet deployed in the Atlantic, the situation could turn far more dangerous. This aircraft can fly at low altitudes with a minimized radar signature and suddenly unleash 12 hypersonic missiles. The gap between detection and impact might shrink to only 5 or 10 minutes. In such a scenario, USA's defense systems would be overwhelmed and the ability to respond would fall to almost zero. The PAKDA can strike multiple targets simultaneously, and when paired with hypersonic missiles, it becomes almost unstoppable for modern air defense systems. But here comes the big question. Will the PAKDA play a role in the Ukraine war? Most likely not. Ukraine already has limited radar coverage, and Russia has been comfortably launching cruise missiles from its own territory using the Tu-95 and Tu-160. For Russia, the real target is NATO and the United States because the PAKDA has been designed specifically to penetrate heavily defended airspace and deliver nuclear or hypersonic strikes. For them, Ukraine is only a small part of the larger picture. At the heart of Russia's nuclear strategy lies its triad: land-based missiles, submarine-launched missiles, and bombers. The reason bombers remain crucial is that missiles, once launched, cannot be recalled, but bombers can be called back if the order is canceled. Bombers can also be deployed first to neutralize enemy air defenses, ensuring that the rest of the nuclear arsenal remains safe and effective. The PAKDA could become the most important piece of Russia's nuclear triad. It is designed to cover the weaknesses of the older bombers. History teaches us that weapons evolve with time. Russia's previous bombers, like the Tu-95 and Tu-160, were created for nuclear missions, but they lacked stealth and long-range precision. The PAKDA fills those gaps. It brings stealth, hypersonic missiles, and far greater endurance. This means Russia's nuclear arsenal will no longer just be strong on land and at sea, but in the air as well, making the triad more powerful and flexible. But challenges still remain. Western sanctions have cut Russia off from advanced electronics, microchips, and composite materials, which means achieving the kind of full stealth that America has with the B-2 or the B-21 will be extremely difficult. Yet even a moderate level of stealth combined with hypersonic missiles could turn into a massive headache for the United States. Russia's production plans are also quite interesting. They are planning to produce about 3 Tu-160 M2 bombers every year, each upgraded with new engines, modern avionics, and a glass cockpit. For the PAKDA, however, production may be limited to only around 40 aircraft. But when it comes to bombers, strength is not measured in numbers, it is measured in impact. If even a single stealth bomber manages to bypass enemy defenses, that one aircraft could completely destroy an entire city. The PAKDA is not just a weapon, it is a statement of deterrence. If the United States and NATO know it is operational, then every piece of their strategic planning will automatically carry its psychological weight. That invisible pressure itself becomes an advantage for Russia. Thanks for watching, folks. I shall see you again in the next one.